I've had sprinklers go off and on in the middle of the night. The lights in the house go off and on. The TV turns on. The volume goes up and down and up and down.
Here at the bar, especially, things will move around quite often. The bar bottles won't be where you put them, especially at night. I personally get the creeps when I shut down.
Your TV goes off for no reason, and it'll just stay off for a while, you know. I can't explain it either, you know. I've had it happen to me.
I've seen some very odd things working the desk. I've seen doors open by themselves, the elevator operating on its own. I set down items, turn around for a few moments, and have stuff moved around on me working the desk.
Down our long hallway, out of the corner of our eye, you know, we'll be polishing silverware or something, and we'll see a bunch of people kind of dressed in brown, you know, walking down the hallway, and then you'll look and there's no one there.
That's crazy. So here we are at Ghost Town. Here we are at the Ghost Town, and we're gonna go ahead and set up and see what the deal is on that broken glass.
Oh, and, yeah, that story.
Maybe we'll call Zach out here, because I mean that's real paranormal activity. So here we go.
Okay, we're out here in front of the Ford truck barn. Here a couple weeks ago, we had a big windstorm, blew all night long. Come morning, the wind died down. There's a gentleman standing here looking at these Ford trucks in front of us. And while he was watching, the glass window pane up there broke. Glass flew to the right, hit the roof and slid down. He had to step forward and the glass slid right over his head and hit the ground. I still haven't figured out how glass could fly sideways after the wind has quit blowing, and if it broke from the wind, why didn't it break during the middle of the night when that wind was really blowing hard? You look there on the ground, you can see all the glasses laying way off to the right of the window, so it didn't fall straight.
My most recent experience is I live in a little cabin down here that actually used to be the kitchen where the women cooked for the miners. And I can hear women talking. It's usually like two having a conversation, and I can hear dishes. And after about 3 or 4 nights of this, I actually thought that maybe I left my radio on, and that was what I was hearing, because it's like about 2 or 3 in the morning. It wakes me up. And when I woke up, I checked my radio and it wasn't even plugged in. So I'm not the only one who has heard this. Other people have heard these 2 women. There are definitely spirits from the past and unusual happenings up here. I've literally had things just fall off the wall. When I'm just standing there washing dishes and I'm looking right at them, like a pot holder just fall off the wall. A picture just fall down off the wall, you know, with no explanation. So it's very interesting living and working up here.
Welcome to the Jerome Winery in Jerome, Arizona, and this is a real ghost town. We've actually had some ghostly encounters here at the winery, and I've personally experienced them. About 2 years ago, I was doing a tasting with some older people. They were sitting right here by the counter. They were on their first tasting, and one of the bottles from my cubbies came flying out, and this thing is pretty hefty, it's not going to move, and just hovered in the air. The people were terrified. They grabbed each other and left and said they didn't need this kind of thing today. I just looked at the bottle and said, okay, walked towards it. The bottle gently fell to the floor and rolled to my feet, and I picked it up. The reason they were showing me this bottle is because the label was all crooked on it, and I wouldn't have been able to sell the bottle.
About your experience here.
Well, you know, recently, like up on our 3rd floor, about the last maybe 2 weeks, I've had lots of occurrences where the doors up there just seem to be locking themselves from the inside and fully locking out guest keys from the rooms, as if almost telling the guests that they're almost just already occupied the room or whatnot. Had that happen to me just several times the last few weeks up here. But there's always just little things happening up here, from just the weird noises being heard to the weird stuff being removed around in people's rooms. And then every once in a bit we'll have the full sightings and even sometimes interaction with the ghosts.
Just last night I had a guest tell me that her friends came in and stayed here on the 3rd floor. And they had such a weird experience that they said they never wanted to come back, because they saw a woman standing in their room, kind of looking over their bed. They heard coughing in the hallway and everything, and they found out that it was in the middle of January, which is typically the town's slower season, and they were the only guests in the hotel. So they decided, they were actually mad at their friend because her friend told her to come there, and they were just like, no, we're never going back, and they actually haven't talked in a couple weeks. So
nothing personal has ever happened right here at the station?
Like, I haven't seen, like, you know, just like a floating ghost or anything like that, you know. Haven't really had the bejesus scared out of me or anything like that, you know. It's just a lot of the subtle things that you just notice.
One really kind of weird experience, I was closing down with a bartender, and she was up here. I told her to help her out. I would go lock up the kitchen and everything, and when I did, I went to turn off the light switch, and the lights turned off, and without me even flipping the switch. So then I flipped a switch, turn them back on, and then turn them off. And then as I'm walking out, it sounded kind of in the kitchen like rumbling, like pots and pans kind of hitting each other. And actually the hotel got a noise complaint from me because I kind of went screaming down the hallway because it kind of freaked me out a lot.
There have been a lot of weird times where I thought I heard voices or weird noises within the building. But the building itself is an old-style building. It does have a bit of kind of creaks to it and whatnot, just weird noises kind of happening with the building itself. So I was always kind of second-guessing myself with the weird noises. But definitely I've had a lot of little things happen to me to know that there's some sort of weird presence up here at the building.
This bar has a few. I know of things moving around where I don't put them at night when we're closing down. The Connor Hotel has a couple rooms up there that guests say have had experiences up there, as well as employees. One room, especially room 5, supposedly has a dog up there that'll growl and bark as you walk by the door, and we've checked it out on occasion and there's nothing in there. One night, a cable guy was up there installing cable. Whole hotel was empty. He had woken because he felt someone shaking him. He woke up with a pillow on top of him and no one was there, so he immediately checked out and stayed in his car. And that wasn't one occasion that other guests have said that they felt someone shaking him in that room specifically, and that's the room right above the bar here. But pretty much anywhere in town has a lot of history. Over 15,000 people at one point, 30 saloons, 15 brothels, so a lot of vice going on. A lot of wickedness, but a good time as well. There's still a lot of ghosts here remaining, still wanting to party and hang out. Pretty much the whole town is filled with some sort of remnants of people from the past.
We're getting shots of the building to make all the old buildings to make it look like ghost town, like the entrance. And there's a lot of it. It's looking good.
People come out with their little meters to check energy.
What was that? Did you hear that? Did you hear that noise? Go investigate. Is this thing for real?
Yeah.
Dude.